First of all, I just want to mention I am having a common cold and sore throat. So if this interrupt, I am extremely sorry in advance. Uh, hope I can manage to hold things up. Uh, and I will start with introducing myself. I am Istiaque. I am from University of Glasgow. I am did my masters in global mental health, and as Lina was saying about the refugees and mental health, which is my actual interest, and I also wanted to put focus on low middle income countries. So. This is what my study is all about, and I also want to share my own experience from working in a low middle income countries, because I have been working with UNICEF and ICDRB for over 4 years, and just also want to share my experience while working in a refugee camp resettled in uh, low middle income country. So let's start with the definitions, which we already talked about earlier. But I just want to start with the forcibly displaced person. Uh, these are the individuals uh, who are forced to leave their country, their home, due to conflicts, violence, fear of persecution, and human rights violations. So the main thing is the forcibly displaced persons is the umbrella term, where the refugees and the asylum seekers they come around, and the refugees, which we already talk about the definition in the earlier presentations, and the asylum seekers are the individuals who actually applied for their uh, refugee status, and their application is now in under process, and that time they have the asylum seeker status. So therefore, not every migrant who has been forcibly relocated is termed as a refugee. Many may instead be classified as asylum seekers or internally displaced individuals. So here is the background of the study. You can see uh, the main thing is around here, uh, the huge number of refugee population, and the number of forcibly displaced population is growing day by day. Right now it is over 89 million people who have been forcibly displaced due to war, conflict, and violence, and out of which it is 27 million refugees, uh, which is hosted by uh, their neighboring countries. And we can see from the map on the left, uh, the five major countries. They are Syria, Venezuela, and Myanmar, Afghanistan, and South Sudan. And these all are from low middle income country zone, and the people uh, originated from these countries are resettled in also in a low middle income country. So you can see the 83% of the total refugees is hosted by our low middle income countries. And when we are conducting this workshop, some individuals might actually lose their house due to some war and violence. And I also want to share my own experience, because I have been working with the Rohingya refugees, and uh, there is like a huge gap of refugees resettled in low middle income countries, and the quality of life and the recognized rights for refugees in high income countries and those in the low income countries is varies a lot. And the 27 million refugees uh, living around in low middle income countries have difficulties uh, in various perspectives. They don't have their basic needs fulfilled. They have various water issues, sanitation issues, houses, educational issues, and there are lack of mental and physical health service providers. So this is mainly due to three reasons. Firstly, international resettlement organizations such as UNHCR, World Health Organization, IMOs, uh, the aid is not sufficient. The aid is never been sufficient, and it is never close to balancing the skills. And the second thing is governments are often reluctant to offer any refugees rights and benefits, although uh, yeah, although in 1951 convention and according to 1967 protocol, the international human rights standards are protected human rights of the refugees, and most of the countries do sign it. Still, in low middle income countries, even in high middle income countries, it is a long way from being put into the practice. So, in low middle income country, human rights breaches is very often thing, and the refugees often lack basic facilities. They always had to face violent movement and the police harassment, arbitrary arrest, and detention without the trials. So, in general, refugees, due to this traumatic experience and their backstories and their histories, they are always been subjected to various forms of trauma throughout their life, and which actually leads to their poor physical health and also hamper their mental health. And there is a wide range of frequency of mental health illness in the conflict exposed populations, and this is making very difficult to generalize their medical health needs. And uh, one of the important thing is the post traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, and depression, and which is affecting a lot of people in general. So let us look at some of the causes of PTSD. So you can see the previous and current traumatic and violent stress experiences, which refugees have to go through a lot, and the forced removal from their homes and communities, uh, painful loss of and separation of from others. They often uh, 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 lose their friends and families. They often lose their limbs and eyes, which my previous presenters mentioned. And there is a lack of uh, uh, medical services is available, and as I talked about earlier, the lack of resources, and also they face a lack of validation. They often didn't get the validation they actually deserve, and human rights violations, and as I talked about earlier, the police harassments and the detentions. So this study, which actually wanted to quantify the effectiveness of psychosocial intervention for PTSD in refugees relocated in low middle income country. And this research, the main research question was which psychosocial intervention is more effective in treating PTSD among refugees relocated in low middle income countries. So I tried to Uh, I will talk about right now the method and the materials of this study. And the this study follows the guideline of the Cochrane Handbook for Systematic Reviews, and the such strategy is based on the earlier studies from Noze and colleagues and Tarini and colleagues, and also utilizing the SCAR low middle income country filter, which give us a very broad spectrum of and broad uh, perspective of studies. And the following bibliographic databases were searched until July 2022: Medline, PsycInfo, Sinhal, and Web of Science. In the inclusion criteria, we try to include uh, all the participants with refugee and asylum seekers status of any age, living in a low and middle income country, and study is which is mainly conducted in English. And we only included randomized control trials, which actually uh, uh, give much more strength to the systematic review. Uh, and after conducting the search, we have uh, got the about 10 studies, and we then follow the handbook of Cochrane for systematic reviews, and then we included the studies and assess their uh, quality, and it was done by risk of bias 2, uh, and the data were analyzed by Revman 5.4.
You've got just less than 5 minutes, okay?
Yeah, thank you.
Well,
And here is the result of the study. And uh, so the meta-analysis demonstrates the psychosocial interventions reduce symptoms of PTSD compared to the control group, and this reviews finding is contributing to the growing body of research on the efficacy of psychosocial interventions for individuals suffering from PTSD. And as I said earlier, the included studies, we were managed to include 9 studies out of 10 selected ones in the meta-analysis, and around 1789 participants, and this study found a moderate level of evidence of psychosocial interventions can reduce the symptoms of PTSD. This study also found psychosocial intervention is very much effective in reducing depressive symptoms, which is very much correlated uh, in case of mental health illnesses. Often participants or patients, they come up with one particular issues, but they always have another issues, which is which may be latent or sometimes evident. And we did the subgroup analysis, and in the subgroup analysis, we have found like EMDR, the eye movement desensitization reprocessing, has the most considerable effect size than the other psychosocial interventions in decreasing PTSD symptoms relative to the control group. Also, in case of the delivery modality, the magnitude of the effect was higher in individual intervention setting in compared to the group setting. And the interventions conducted by expert psychologists and therapists proven to be much more effective than the session led by lay facilitators, which is very much important in case of low middle income country where the expert psychologists and therapists are very rare to find, and sometimes it is hard to conduct a study and intervention in a low middle income countries. So also we want to look at that perspective. So here I want to talk about some of the strength and the limitations of this study. This systematic review is the only systematic review and meta-analysis which is exclusively looked into the refugees issues, which is the one of the least addressed issues, and this review maintain a systematic search strategy, and we try to did the search more extensively. And to our knowledge, we were able to include all the RCTs conducted in this field of research, which enhance the credibility of this study. Nevertheless, the number of the methodological rigor of these included studies were limited, as there is a very limited and low number of studies were conducted in low middle income countries. Another essential factor which we couldn't evaluate, it is the efficacy of psychosocial intervention for refugee children and adolescents due to lack of any relevant uh, data, and uh, certain limitations also should be considered. We only included studies which is published in English, and also we only included randomized control trials in low middle income country. Selecting randomized control trials may limit the possibility of the relevant research, or randomization is not feasible or due to lack of funds or any appropriate resources. Excuse me. And moreover, this study included studies that did not aim to assess PTSD symptoms as primary outcome, and contributing more to the heterogeneity. And to for the future researchers, we actually think there is a very huge scope of improvements, and more extensive research is required with long-term evaluations of intervention efficacy. And future research should focus on exploring low middle income countries like Bangladesh, Pakistan, Kenya, and many more, where substantial refugees and forcibly displaced population is residing. Thank you. This is me while working in the Cox's Bazar Balukhali refugee camp. These are the some innocent children who were just playing around our health camp, and you can see the settlement over here. Uh, these are all shelters for the refugee settlements. And as I talked earlier about the low and middle income countries, which is we need to put more focuses on. Thank you so much.